John Denver was an experienced pilot with almost 3,000 hours under his belt. The day that he died, he was flying in near-perfect conditions. So how did this accomplished pilot dramatically crash into the sea?
John Denver's voice carried the beauty of nature into millions of homes, but behind his gentle songs lay hidden turmoil, and an aviation tragedy clouded in unanswered questions. What truly caused the crash that took his life in 1997? The truth reveals more than pilot error. It exposes design flaws, ignored warnings, and personal struggles that reshaped his legacy. This story transcends one man's death, revealing a haunting interplay of negligence, vulnerability, and ambition that turned America's beloved troubadour into a cautionary symbol of passion and peril. The crash and initial mystery. John Denver's sudden death on October 12, 1997, shocked millions of fans worldwide. While piloting his own experimental plane, a Rutan Long EZ, Denver crashed into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California. Initially, reports pointed to simple pilot error or mechanical failure, but early details were scarce, leaving many questions unanswered. The crash seemed tragic yet straightforward until investigators dug deeper and uncovered a far more complicated story behind what really happened in that cockpit. Even those close to Denver were stunned by the news. Terry Martell, the sister of his ex-wife, reflected on his lifelong passion for aviation, saying, "He loved flying. He died doing something he loved." The aircraft involved was a home-built experimental plane, a category known for requiring intense pilot knowledge and careful maintenance. On that day, Denver was flying solo when critical control issues arose. Witnesses on shore saw the plane struggling to maintain altitude before it tragically plunged into the water.
"John, this plane is not proven. Why are you flying it?" But no, he liked living on the edge. He wanted to try it out. And I said, "John, just stay away from those planes. Stay away, please."
The immediate official conclusion leaned toward pilot error, but no exact cause was publicly clear, leading to speculation and mystery among both fans and aviation experts. What made the situation more perplexing was the lack of clear, accessible information about Denver's final moments and the mechanical state of the plane. Family, friends, and fellow pilots expressed confusion about how such a skilled aviator could have mishandled his aircraft. The scene was set for a revelation that would challenge assumptions and force a re-examination of both the crash and of Denver's final years. The truth lurking beneath the initial explanations was unsettling and complicated. Despite the tragedy's early framing, its deeper causes were still to unfold, rooted in the aircraft's design and Denver's personal struggles. Technical flaws and negligence. Further investigation revealed that the Rutan Long EZ wasn't just an ordinary experimental plane. It had inherent design flaws that contributed significantly to the accident. The main culprit was the fuel selector valve, found in the wrong position during the crash, which led to fuel starvation and engine failure. Denver had reportedly encountered issues with the plane's fuel system before the fatal flight, but had not received adequate technical support or proper maintenance instructions. The manufacturer's failure to provide clear guidance and the presence of undisclosed mechanical vulnerabilities deeply complicated the safety of this aircraft model. The Rutan Long EZ required pilots to perform complex operations simply to keep the engine running, a detail not fully communicated to owners. In Denver's case, these flaws created a perilous environment where even a minor mistake or mechanical hiccup could become fatal. The resulting crash was as much a failure of design and regulatory oversight as it was of human error. Hal Thao, Denver's longtime manager, spoke soon after investigators confirmed fuel starvation as the cause. He said, "I couldn't imagine it could be anything else." His family will be happy to hear that this is official.
John Denver's plane crash involved a catalog of errors. Firstly, half of the information within the cockpit of the plane was painted over, including the fuel selector switch. Secondly, John didn't refuel, and his plane backfired, suggesting that he'd run out of gas.
This revelation exposed systemic problems in the world of experimental aviation. Home-built aircraft like Denver's exist in a gray area with laxer regulations and less rigorous safety checks compared to commercial planes. The tragic accident highlighted how insufficient manufacturer transparency and inadequate pilot training can create deadly risks. In Denver's case, a beloved entertainer's life ended partly because of a preventable cascade of neglect and inadequate safety protocols. The layers of mechanical problems and overlooked warnings were only part of the story. John Denver's personal challenges also played a vital role in the events leading up to the crash. Denver's personal struggles. Behind the public image of a joyful, nature-loving folk singer, John Denver faced complex emotional and personal difficulties in his later years. While he remained active in music and environmental activism, privately, he wrestled with the pressures of fame, stressful relationships, and the pain of a difficult divorce. These strains weighed heavily on him and sometimes affected his judgment and well-being. Friends and insiders recall a man who was under intense emotional turmoil, struggling to balance his public persona with private challenges. John Denver's colleague recalled, "John Denver was totally invested in the human race. He was a people person," describing him as complex and profound. Reports surfaced suggesting bouts of depression and stress that cast a shadow over his final years. While rumors about substance abuse circulated, no clear evidence linked substances or alcohol to the crash. Instead, his vulnerabilities appeared tied more to emotional fatigue and the isolating effects of celebrity pressures.
When you smoke marijuana, there's an almost immediate effect on your brain which can alter your sense of perception. Crucially, it can affect judgment and slow down reaction time. If John Denver was smoking marijuana before he flew his plane, this could have led to catastrophic pilot error.
These personal battles may have influenced his ability to manage the demanding task of piloting a complex experimental aircraft. As Denver himself once wrote, "I've always liked to think that we put ourselves in the circumstances in life that will support us moving through to wherever it is our spirit is going." Flying such a plane requires full attention, technical expertise, and calm decision-making, qualities that can be compromised by mental distress. Combining a struggling aircraft with a troubled pilot created a tragic perfect storm. Denver's human frailty, when mixed with technical failure, deepened the poignancy of his demise, turning an accident into a cautionary tale about the costs of both machinery and mind slipping out of sync. A man celebrated for songs about freedom and nature was ultimately undone by a mix of flawed technology and personal tragedy. The impact on his legacy. The revelations surrounding John Denver's tragic death have cast a complex shadow over the legacy of a man once seen as a symbol of wholesome, nature-loving Americana. Fans long cherished an image of Denver as the gentle troubadour whose music celebrated peace, love, and the environment. Yet discovering that design flaws, insufficient training, and personal struggles contributed to his death complicates this narrative, forcing a more nuanced reflection on both the man and the circumstances of his final flight. This bittersweet understanding challenges the comforting myth of Denver's life, revealing vulnerabilities often hidden beneath his public persona. Critics argue the tragedy might have been averted with better pilot instruction, improved equipment, or more stringent inspections on experimental aircraft. Such insights raise uncomfortable questions about accountability, not only for Denver himself, but also for the manufacturers and regulatory bodies responsible for safety oversight. These discussions have stirred debates about how much responsibility lies with the individual pilot versus the broader aviation system. The lessons learned from Denver's death extend far beyond personal legacy, influencing broader conversations about aviation safety and pilot preparedness. Aviation safety lessons. John Denver's fatal crash brought into sharp focus the critical importance of rigorous safety standards for home-built and experimental aircraft. These planes often operate with fewer regulatory controls than commercial aviation, relying heavily on pilot skill and manufacturer transparency. The routine, long-EZ's overlooked mechanical vulnerabilities and confusing control systems underscored how lapses in design, communication, and safety protocols can quickly escalate into deadly situations. Denver's accident became a case study highlighting these systemic risks. In response, The aviation community intensified calls for improved pilot training tailored specifically to the unique challenges of experimental flying. Many recommended more comprehensive education on mechanical systems and emergency procedures, ensuring pilots fully understand their aircraft's quirks and hazards. Additionally, advocates pushed for stricter inspections and clearer guidance from manufacturers to prevent pilots from unknowingly flying unsafe planes. The goal was to create an environment where enthusiasts could pursue their passion safely, without risking lives due to preventable issues. Where the personal and technical collide, the path forward demands vigilance, responsibility, and learning from past failures. The lasting cautionary tale. John Denver's tragic death remains a powerful warning about the intersection of human vulnerability and technological risk. His story highlights that even the most talented and celebrated individuals are not immune to the consequences of overlooked safety issues and personal struggles. The crash serves as a reminder that passion and skill alone cannot compensate for systemic failures in design, regulation, and support, especially in high-stakes fields like aviation, where lives hang in the balance. The broader lesson from Denver's accident reaches beyond just experimental aviation. It underscores the critical need for transparency, rigorous oversight, and continuous training in any domain where technical complexity meets human decision-making. Denver's fate prompted renewed calls for tighter regulation of home-built aircraft and more comprehensive pilot education, helping to prevent similar tragedies for others drawn to this daring pursuit. His story continues to inspire not only admiration for his art, but also vigilance about safety where enthusiasm and expertise collide. John Denver's story teaches us that behind every legend is a human being facing challenges both seen and unseen. While his music celebrates nature's wonder, the truth of his final flight reveals the importance of safety, vigilance, and care in pursuit of our passions. If you found this story eye-opening, please like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into stories that inspire and caution alike. Your support helps us share these important lessons with the world.